So everyone knows that you should really be careful about what you eat through the business day and what you're working and stuff like that. Everyone knows about brain fog. Everyone knows about the fact that if you are eating terrible food, you're going to feel terrible and you're going to work bad, right? But no one talks about the other kind of diet which you should have in your life, which is what you actually allow into your mind. And the mind diet is arguably more important than what you actually eat, your normal diet. And I'm going to explain why in this video. So if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Ben Lister. I help agency owners to save thousands and thousands of hours by sometimes even doing their outreach for them so they can start to work on the agency rather than working in the agency. So the reason that I'm thinking about this and I want to talk about it today is just a few days ago, I went to the shop, the supermarket, to get some milk, right? It's the only thing that I was looking for. I was in this office, I needed some milk so I could have my first meal of my day. And I went in there and I ended up coming out with more than I wanted. And the reason for that is because the milk in the supermarket was so far away, it's like right at the back of the store. You might be familiar with this if you go to a supermarket, it's often like the milk is furthest away. And I had to walk past many different items, things that I was like, maybe I could eat that, maybe I could eat that. And the willpower that I had was not strong enough to not buy certain things. And I wasn't eating junk food. It was just some chicken, right? Some already pre-cooked chicken. And they make you walk past all the pre-cooked food, the meal deal stuff, all that stuff like the crisps and drinks and all that kind of stuff, just to get to the things that you might be coming in just for one thing, right? So you would regularly go into the shop just for milk. You would regularly go in just for bread, something like that. Not often that you go in just for something like vegetables, for example. So staples are often put like really far at the back, and this is where they get you. Now, the reason this made me think about this topic is my sister used to work in a supermarket a few years ago as a part-time job, and she used to talk about the fact when they would put stuff on the shelves and they were stacking the shelves, there would be very specific instructions of where stuff should go. And oftentimes they would change things around just randomly, and they would say, okay, you've got to come in into the shelf and you've got to change the whole thing. Now we're going to have this thing over here, we're going to have this thing over here, all that kind of stuff. And the reason for that was kind of obvious. It's because they think that that's going to make people buy more. And really, really makes me think is that everything that you see, all the different businesses that you work with, all the different companies that you use, whether it's social media, whether this is Netflix, whether this is just going to the supermarket, everything has been meticulously planned. Because if they can gain a 1% gain by changing around the shelves, by changing where stuff is in the shop, then they're going to do it because that makes them millions and millions and millions just by having that 1% gain. If Netflix can get you to watch 1% more show and subscribe for 1% longer time, then they're going to do it, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get to that point because that is worth so much money to them. And so the algorithms that are at play, whether it's a digital platform like Netflix or Facebook or something like that, who can literally control what you see, and the brick and mortar places like supermarkets and stores and things like that, who can literally control what you walk past and what you physically see in front of you and what you potentially even buy. These things are, people know about them and they understand them, but I don't think they realize just how much of a control they have on people's lives. And maybe you can have the argument, you can have willpower, you can just not actually watch the extra Netflix episode, you can just walk past the chicken and not actually go and buy it. But in actual fact, these things that are at play all the time get us in many different ways that we don't realize. And it comes down to the fact that what you put in your mind is just as important as what you put into your body, right? And when you're looking at something, by definition, your eyes are an extension of your brain. So just by looking at something, just by being around something, you're putting it into your mind. You can't help yourself but have a thought about something if you walk past it and you see it, because it's literally part of your brain. You're going to experience it and you're going to have senses and emotions over that. So the best way to deal with this is to just ignore it altogether. Don't actually put yourself in that situation. And it's just like watching the news. There's many people that are successful out there that refuse to watch the news. I sometimes find myself get drawn in by a particular story, and there's a couple of different arguments and people make very good points. There's articles out there and this person's making a good point and that person's making a good point, and what do I think about this? And everyone has to have an opinion these days. But if I just completely ignored it together and I just refuse, and I'm not going to put myself onto the news homepage, onto that website, and they can't give me articles that might be for me, right? They might be based on what I've searched in the past or anything like that. These algorithms are going to be in play everywhere. If I don't put myself on that website, then I can't actually be drawn in the first place. So I can't be distracted. I can't be taken away from my goals, which is literally just to grow my business, and that is it. And I can't be really polarized by these different views that are out there or these different things that are ongoing. And it's all just comes down to the fact that it is a distraction. And this is why I like to call it the mind diet. It's what you put into your mind. If you have a really clean diet where you're not going on TikTok, if you're not putting yourself in front of these algorithms, if you're not putting yourself in a place where you can be influenced and distracted by the millions of different things that are out there nowadays, then your diet is going to be super, super clean, and you're going to be incredibly healthy in terms of your mind. And it all comes down to the fact that you just need to focus on the main thing, which is literally just booking appointments, signing clients, and growing the business. And that is literally it. Something that really gets me all the time is sports. I absolutely love sports. Sometimes they get drawn into like big events or the, competitions that go on, and it's all just a big distraction at the end of the day. And of course, you need your break. You need that, 1 or 2 days a week where you just switch off and you have that escape. But when it comes to actually your day-to-day life, your business life, you'll realize that there's many, many things at play that are going to distract you and are going to prevent you from doing the things that you want to do. Now, there's probably someone saying that this is pretty unrealistic. I can't not go into the shop. I can't not ever turn on a website that has an algorithm at play, because they nearly all do. And that is true, right? One thing that I would say when it comes to specific websites like social media, if you need to use social media for your business, like I need to use YouTube for my business, I need to use, Facebook and LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff, there is extensions out there like Chrome extensions where you can use that will literally just block news feeds and stuff like that. So you can be very intentional with what you do. You can come in, you can make a post, you can come in, you can, visit that site that you were looking for and visit that post and take the information that you want and then leave without having to go down this rabbit hole of just being bombarded with information that you don't really need, and it's all designed to particularly make you read further and further and just to get you drawn in. So there is things like that. In terms of not going into places like supermarkets where they're going to grab you and you're going to spend your money and you're going to buy food that you don't really need and you don't want, and it's away from your actual diet that you're trying to follow, there's not really much you can do about that unless you're like a multi-millionaire and you have people that can do this stuff for you. Food deliveries and stuff, I guess, but then at that point you've got to be on the websites and you've got to be doing stuff. So at that point you just kind of have to be aware of it. The first step of getting rid of this is just be aware that it exists. So hopefully now that you understand this information and you've been presented this information, you can see it in more parts of your life where things get thrown at you and things pop up to you and things, and things get presented to you, and you just have to realize that this is part of some kind of business plan. This is trying to distract you from something because they want you to engage with their product or their service, and in actual fact you shouldn't really be doing that, at least not a whole lot, and you should be focusing on your business and the goals that you have. So if you put this into business and into your life, you are literally going to skyrocket in terms of productivity. It's something which I've been like fluctuating by. I had months where I've been completely on the ball and done this many times, and this is something that I have complete control over. And then there's some months where, like last week, where I end up buying something that I don't want, or maybe I watch something that I shouldn't want and something like that, or I get drawn into a news story. But it happens. The most important thing is to just come back to the understanding that this is actually happening to you and you can do something about it. You can increase your productivity and you can ignore those distractions that are out there. By the way, if you are looking to sign clients on a done-for-you basis, you want someone to come in and book appointments straight into your calendar, go ahead and click the first link in the description. We're not asking for your email or your phone number. We're not going to send you some kind of free training or anything like that. It's literally just a video of me explaining how my company does this for many people, and it's completely pay on results as well. But if you just want to watch these videos and enjoy the content, then that's completely fine. Of course, you don't have to actually click it. But if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and click the like button below. Comment if you want me to include anything in these videos in the future, and subscribe if you want to see more. Appreciate you watching this one to the end. Cheers.